doing all these things because there was American strength and there was American pride, and we can have that again. And so as you go out to talk to maybe that friend or brother or neighbor who might not be wearing the MAGA hat or fully aligned, know that voting with us is in their best interest. Because we are the only political movement in this country actually fighting to make things better for the people who hate us. We're not just for no tax on tips for Republicans. We're for no tax on tips for everybody. We're not just going to end tax on Social Security for the Republicans. We're going to do that for everybody. And when we have a strong economy and a secure border and a safe world, Americans will live better lives. I'll leave you with this story. I was campaigning for President Trump out in frosty New Hampshire, which this is way more temperate, I will tell you. For a Florida man, going out there with like negative 18 degrees is like a human rights violation. But I did it. I was in New Hampshire. And I went into a coffee shop, and this barista came up to me, and she said, "Congressman Gates, my boyfriend will be so disappointed. He wasn't here to meet you. Could we take a photo and send it to him?" I said, sure, but will you make sure to get out and vote for President Trump? She said, "Oh, yeah, I will." And I said, "Well, will you make sure your boyfriend, who's not here today, gets out and votes for President Trump?" And she looked at me and said, "Congressman, I am so for President Trump. I'm not just getting my boyfriend to vote for him. I'm getting all of my ex-boyfriends to vote for him, too." And so I need you to go out in these next few days with the spirit of that barista, sign up for Trump Force 47, and let's go earn the greatest victory America's ever known. God bless you all so much. Thank you for having my back. Let's go get them.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Lieutenant Governor Stavros Anthony.
Well, thank you. Again, my name is Stavros Anthony, and I am honored to be your Nevada Lieutenant Governor. Thank you. And I just want to thank all you patriots for coming out today to welcome the next President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Absolutely. We're going to make America great again. So, as you know, President Trump has been traveling all over the country, holding massive rallies. He was just here in Las Vegas last week at the Thomas and Mack Center. 20,000 people were there. He was at Madison Square Garden. I don't know how many people were there, but that's a big building, and it was full. And this building is going to be full by the time he gets here. And he has been talking to us, to Americans and us Nevadans, about what's important to us personally. He's been talking about closing the border. That's important to us Nevadans. He's talking about deporting illegal criminals. That's important to us Nevadans. He's going to lower inflation so we have more money in our pockets. That's important to Nevadans. He's going to lower gas prices because that's important to us. And when he says no taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security, that's important to us Nevadans. We want that. And he understands how expensive housing is getting here in Nevada, and it's because of Kamala Harris. She's driving up interest rates. It costs too much to build a house, and it's getting unaffordable. And Donald Trump is going to change that so we can make housing great again here in the state of Nevada. And as some of you may know, I'm a 29-year veteran of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I retired as a captain. And how about a nice round of applause for the men and women in uniform that protect our community here in Henderson and all over our country. That's right. We support law enforcement. Absolutely. We're not going to get that at a Kamala Walls rally. They hate the police. They want to defund the police. You all remember in Minnesota some years back when Minnesota was burning down by Antifa and some local cities there? And what did Walls do? Nothing. They asked him to call out the National Guard. Nothing. Police precincts were burning down. He did nothing. And Kamala Harris was raising money to bail out criminals. That's what they think of public safety. So what are Kamala Harris and Walls and all their surrogates campaigning on today? They're calling us names. And what's the last name they just called us? That's right. They think teachers in this room are garbage. They think police officers in this room are garbage. They think culinary union workers are garbage. They think stay-at-home moms are garbage. That's what they think of us. They finally revealed themselves to us. The Democrat Party, the swamp, and the elite, that's what they think of us. And we're not going to take it anymore. We're not going to take it anymore. And I just want to give an extra shout out to the UNR women's volleyball team. Huh? These young student athletes who are trying to learn, trying to play volleyball, have decided they're sick and tired of men and women's sports. And we're sick and tired of men and women's sports. And the Democrat Party supports that, and Donald Trump will reverse that, I believe, day one. Absolutely. So we have 5 days left, and we are kicking ass. We are kicking ass. But we cannot let up on the pedal. We have to keep going. If you haven't voted, please vote tomorrow. If you're going to vote election day, great. We need to get early voting out. And if you know a couple of people that have not voted yet, please drag them to the voting booth so we can get them to vote. I know you're going to do that. Let's get everybody to do that because our state depends on it. Our country depends on it. I believe Nevada is going to carry Donald J. Trump over the finish line and be the next president of the United States. Thank you. God bless all of you, and make America great again.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage retired U.S. Army Captain and candidate for the United States Senate, Sam Brown.
Are you ready to rock and roll? Are you ready to win? Are you ready to put America first? Are you ready to make America great again? All right, you guys know what's at stake. This has been a battle. This has been a war against those who want to destroy this country. and those who want to make our country great again. I'll tell you what I've seen over these last 15 months is Nevadans who are fed up. Nevadans who are disappointed. Nevadans of all types. I'm not just talking about Republicans. We got any independents or former Democrats in the House? There we go. We're talking about Nevadans who have been let down by this administration, starting with an open border, with tens of millions of illegals coming across this border, about 14,000 convicted murderers, people on known terror watch lists. We will get them out. President Trump will secure the border. President Trump will take care of our communities. President Trump will be a president of law and order. But I tell you what, there's other battles out there too. There's a battle against women. Did you guys see what Mark Cuban said yesterday? Shameful. Shameful. He said that he doesn't know of any strong, intelligent women who could support Donald J. Trump. Do we have any strong, intelligent women here? I see a lot of strong, intelligent women here, including my wife, former Army Captain Amy Brown. I'll tell you what else I see. Folks like my daughter who want to be able to play sports without being concerned about the safety or unfairness or privacy of having boys on the court, on the field, or in their locker rooms. And President Trump will protect women's sports and also make women's sports great again. We all know, and we're all here for President Trump. But there's some other key important races on the ballot right now that we all have to decide on. One of them is re-election for Harry Reid's protege. Some of you may have heard of her, Senator Jackie Rosen. You know, Senator Rosen's had 8 years to make an impact, 8 years to make a difference. And she has sat on the Homeland Security Committee, and what has she done to secure the border? You know, Jackie Rosen's neighborhood is more secure than our southern border. She's got gate guards, she's got gates and fences. It's time to put our country's security at the top of the list. How about that? Jackie Rosen's also bragged about voting for Bidenomics. You know, most of us have felt a pinch in our wallet over these last 4 years. But you know what? Jackie Rosen, her net worth has gone up 61% as she has violated the Stock Act over and over and over again. Again, it's shameful. It's disappointing that someone will look at us in the eyes and say that members of Congress shouldn't trade stocks, and she failed to disclose that she controls a trust fund worth $15 million. But you know what? This election is about consequences. Consequences for failed leadership. Consequences for the Biden-Harris administration. Consequences for Jackie Rosen. Consequences for the Democrats down the ballot who failed us, and you will lead to victory. There's one other thing I've got to say. Do we have any working class Nevadans out here tonight? You know, I wasn't always the man who got to stand on the stage like this. 6 years ago, I wore a different type of outfit. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm proud to have wore this 10-hour shifts in a fulfillment center, moving boxes, loading up semi-truck trailers. I'm proud to have left work with a sweat on my brow and sore muscles. I'm proud to have worked hard to put food on the table and a roof over my head, and so are you. I'm proud to stand with President Trump and working class Americans and working class Nevadans as we make America great again. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Governor of Nevada, Joe Lombardo.
Well, I was raised up beneath the shade of a Georgia pine, and that's home, you know, sweet tea, pecan pie, and homemade wine, where the peaches grow. In my house, it's not much to talk about.
I didn't like that walkout song. I'm gonna have to talk to somebody about that. We need a little AC/DC. I'll leave that to President Trump. Welcome, Henderson. Welcome, Las Vegas. Welcome, Nevada. Hey, a little shout out because it's a special day today, right? It's Nevada Day. Nevada Day, Nevada Day. There's another day that's occurring today. And what is that? Halloween? It's Halloween today, right? So you know what's really scary to me? So the reason why we're here is what? It's scary the thought of putting Kamala in the White House for 4 more years, right? Hey, by our enthusiasm, by our momentum, and how aggressive we are in voting, we're going to prevent that. We're going to put Mr. Trump back in the White House. And why are we going to put Trump back in the White House? Because Kamala broke it, right? You know, the disturbing thing, I know you've all seen the commercial, the campaign advertising, when she is asked, what would you have done different than President Biden? And what was her response? Nothing. Nothing. And how can you have a response that says nothing when what we are dealing with in our society today, the economy, the border, crime, affordable housing, health care, everything that we deal with for our quality of life, for our families, is broken. Is broken, and she has the nerve to say nothing. Nothing. President Trump has a record. President Trump has a record of success. When he was in office and he was our president, what occurred? The economy was robust, the border was secure, we could afford gas and groceries. Nevada had a record unemployment rate. It was the lowest it ever was since 1969 under President Trump. So a lot of you are probably saying, well, what's the president got to do with Nevada? Everything. Everything. Everything we deal with as a state, what we are responsible for, sending our kids to school, everything associated with our daily lives is directly related to what happens back there in the Beltway, in the White House, in the swamp. President Trump promised to fix it. He did when he was the president. He's promised to fix it again. So, as a group, you heard the lieutenant governor talking about being a police officer for 29 years, right? He's a rookie. Because I was his boss on the police department for 34 years. So we know exactly what we need to do as your representatives in the state of Nevada and what that picture of success looks like. If we are to bring President Trump back into office, and we will do that as a state, it will have a direct effect on our senatorial position, our congressional positions, and more importantly, on our legislature. Because we're going to go up and down the bracket, up and down the ballot. Everybody's going to vote for those fantastic, competent Republican candidates. So as your governor, this is what I'm asking of you. Get up off that couch. I won't say what President Trump said, but get up off that couch and go vote. But more importantly, for some reason I have a warm and fuzzy feeling everybody in this room has probably already voted. But if you're a traditionalist and you're waiting till November 5th, I'm pretty sure you're going to vote. All right? But you all know somebody in this room who hasn't got up off that couch and who hasn't voted. And it's your job to grab them by the scruff of their neck, drag them down to the voting booth, and make them do that. Can I rely on you to do that? There's something going on here in the state of Nevada, and that's your legislature. The Democrats are trying to make a supermajority, so I have no ability to do my job as your governor. That's why it's very important for you to get down there when you vote for Trump, look down all the way at the bottom of the ballot and make sure you vote for every one of those individual Republicans. All right, so everybody, let's do your job. Let's do your job. Let's support the people that need to be supported. Let's support President Trump and make America great again. And come November 5th, I'm looking for volunteers to put Kamala Harris in your vehicle and drive her to California. Thank you.
Well, I was raised up beneath the shade of a Georgia pine, and that's home, you know, sweet tea, pecan pie, and homemade wine.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Chairman of the Republican Party of Nevada, Michael McDonald.
Now, Governor Lombardo, that's how it's done. Love it. Nevada, how about that? We got Matt Gaetz, Joe Lombardo, Lieutenant Governor, start with Anthony. Full affair. The governor mentioned earlier, and so did Lieutenant Governor, we have some great people in this house, and I want you to recognize them. We have the mayor and city council of Henderson. Could they please stand up? Let's give them a round of applause. So proud of them, and they fight for us. We also have some of our legislators here, our strong women legislators, as a matter of fact. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please stand up? Give them a round of applause, too. And how about our candidates for Assembly and Senate, rock star candidates that are out knocking doors every day in the heat with so many of you that are volunteers? Give them a round of applause. We've come together so many times. President Trump loves this state. I tell you time and time again. We've seen how he fights for us, and you have answered the call. But we are not done yet. You came in, and where we're sitting right now is fantastic. Historic levels of voting for the Republican Party. But it's not over yet. You have to get out there, and you have to plant that flag so there's never a question of what happens in Nevada ever again. You know, I had the privilege, I'm a Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officer as well. I had to work for those two guys. So give me pity. I made Starvis, when we started work together, he was my supervisor. He had a full head of hair, looked great. Look what I did to him. Our governor was a rock star model. Now his hair's gray. But more importantly, that is strong leadership that stepped up and took the mantle that they said, look, I've done my service with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I want to return and go even further, that we take back this state and make it secure and safe for every one of them. And that's the kind of commitment we have in our state, in our leadership. The comments, they've been bad. The United States has put us down time and time again, but talked personally about each and every one of us, not on policy. Because when she flipped over and said, hey, I'm on, we said, great policy. Here's her record, liberal taxes on tips. She decided to put more IRS agents on the people that are all working for tips in this state. Look it up. She's the deciding vote that did it. Then she came back and started calling us names even more. The way she addresses Donald Trump. Well, he's President Donald Trump to you, lady. She cannot stand on her record against that. Her record's abysmal. So she has to do this whole act when she put her in front of a camera. Ask her a tough question. Even the liberal media ask her tough questions. Here's her response. I used to work for a living. I worked at McDonald's. That's your response? Many of us in this room right now can't afford gas. We can't afford food. We can't afford to take care of our family. And she's laughing at us. She has laughed in the spit in the Democrat Party's face. You're going to follow that? That's your candidate? Are you kidding me? You've been hoodwinked. You can't afford it just like we can't afford it. Defining moment yesterday. The sitting president, 2 days ago, the sitting president called us garbage. Sam Brown brought it up. Called us garbage. A sitting president. Let that resonate. Because this is one thing I can tell you. Yesterday was trash day. In Nevada, for many of us in our neighborhood, the greatest thing I had rolling down my street. We had members of the Republic Services, our trash men, came by and got Donald J. Trump hats, Make America Great. They're just like us. They can't afford to eat. Those are Teamster members. Those are union members. They're in the same boat we're all in. We're not about dividing. We're about uniting. That's what Donald Trump has done. He's reached across the aisle and he says, let's get together. Let's fix this. And you have Republican leaders and Democrat leaders coming together to try and fix this. That's leadership. Sam Brown mentioned it. It's tough to be the last speaker. Everybody takes your lines. Sam Brown mentioned this. Many of us, many of these men are here, we're mama's boys. And I don't have a problem saying I'm a mama's boy. Because we love our women. We love our strong women. And for Mark Cuban to sit and take shots at us as he flies around in his private jet, this is the kind of stupid fool this guy is. He talks about Donald Trump doesn't surround himself with strong women. You know who his partner in the Mavericks are? Adelson, Mrs. Adelson, who's a big supporter of Donald Trump. So he might want to check himself on that, and I'm pretty sure his partner's going to take it a little. Many of you know Mrs. Adelson. She's going to take him to the woodshed. Because that boy's a fool. You know, he's lucky he's rich because he's dumb as shit when it comes to talking to everybody else. We have strong leadership in the Republican Party. Inside the Nevada Republican Party, we've always had it. We've had our executive staff has been females. If you look at the legislature, our legislators is led by Republican women. We don't fear that. We're strong men that back strong women. If you look at the people that are backing, the men that are backing Kamala Harris, they're beta males. People that back Donald J. Trump, the men that back our women, we're alpha males. But like I said, we have to cast that vote. Oh, I'll bring that up. I'm glad you mentioned him. I'm going to extend my time just a little bit. So we have one thing. How many of you watched, this is for you, Kevin, Jazz Hands? You guys look at Jazz Hands? Is it me or does Wallace look like he is a next contestant on The Price is Right and he comes running down the aisle? He comes on stage looking like it's the clown act running out for Circus Circus. That's who we want leading? Could you imagine they go into dispute with Russia? They go into dispute with another country, North Korea. Hell, with this type of leadership, I would attack myself from Nevada. It goes on how you lead. This is a guy who said he was a football coach. He didn't know what a pick six was. I think he wasn't a coach. I think he was the equipment manager. For tampons, exactly. Now, we've had fun up here today. And you've had great leaders of our state and our nation speak to you today. But the message cannot go further. Captain Sam Brown, please come out here. I've been on the campaign train with this man. I can tell you his leadership has been fantastic. We've knocked doors. We've been to barbecues, rodeos. We've been up and down this state. And the most important message he shows, he is for the working men and women. He is for the working class that has the opportunity. He will lead this state into another dimension where we have all of the stuff that works for us working men and women. We don't have that now. We have words, no actions. This man, a war hero, is about actions, not words. On your feet, show him some respect. Let's give him what he deserves. You have to get out and vote. Stand shoulder to shoulder with everybody that was up on this stage. Stand shoulder to shoulder and put this man in office. And I guarantee Donald J. Trump and this man in Senate will never see, ever, Nevada on its knees. We will make sure that we rule this state. We rule this nation, and we're the leaders. We're not the caboose. Give him a round of applause. Sam, say something else, man.
Nevada, you fired me up. Some of you have heard this before. The greatest lesson I ever learned in my life happened on the battlefield of Afghanistan. When I was burning to death, and I came to this place where very quickly I thought that my own life couldn't be saved. I gave up the will to live. But it was the words of one of my soldiers that pulled me back in. You guys know what it is. I've got you. Nevada, I've got you.
Let's do this.
Thunderstruck! Thunderstruck! Yeah, 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 thunderstruck! Ooh, thunderstruck! I was shaking out the knees. Can I come again, please?
It was Christmas Day. We boarded Air Force One in complete and total darkness, in the pitch black of night. We landed in war-torn western Iraq. No lights on the runway. There were hundreds of troops packed into a dining hall. They had absolutely no idea that the president and first lady were about to walk into that room. And when they did, it was a sight and a sound and a scene that I hope I never forget. That room absolutely erupted. That was the kind of patriotism President Trump brought back to our country. One of the young soldiers yelled from the back of the room, "Mr. President, I re-enlisted in the military because of you." And without missing a beat, the president said, "And son, I am here because of you."
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Up and down, counting out, smiling through the taste of blood in my own mouth. I got bruises and broken bones, but they don't know I ain't in this ring alone. I'm a fighter. No one can say that I'm a running hider. I was born to be a do-or-dyer, a make-it-righter. Don't throw that towel just yet. Don't cash in that last bet, 'cause I hit harder when I'm tired. I'm a fighter. get back up. That's what I do. I didn't soldier on this far just to lose. So take your shot. Is that all you got? I'm a fighter. No one can say that I'm a running hider. I was born to be a do-or-dyer, a make-it-rider. Don't throw that towel just yet. Don't cash in that last bet, 'cause I hit harder when I'm tired. Yeah, I'm a fighter. Oh. No one can keep me down. They didn't know, but they know now. That I'm a fighter. No one can say that I'm a running hider. Don't cash in that last bet. Don't throw that towel just yet. I'm a fighter.
From the very first day that we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country, I believe that we're going to have 4 of the greatest years in the history of our country. I will once and for all secure our elections. We're going to go to paper ballots. We're going to have same-day voting, voter ID. We're going to do it properly. We're going to have good, secure, beautiful elections. We never want what happened in 2020 to happen again. But until then, Republicans must win. And we must use every appropriate tool available to beat the Democrats. They are destroying our country. Whether you vote early, absentee, by mail, or in person, we are going to protect the vote. That's the most important thing we have to do, is protect the vote. Keep your eyes open, because these people want to cheat, and they do cheat. And frankly, it's the only thing they do well. We will make sure your ballot is secure and your voice is heard. Many Republicans like to vote on Election Day, and we must swamp the radical Democrats with massive turnout on Tuesday, November 5th. The way you win is to swamp them. If we swamp them, they can't cheat. It just doesn't work out. But if you can't make it, you need to make a plan, register, and vote any way possible. We got to get your vote. So with your vote, we will win a victory the likes of which no one has ever seen before. We will evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House, and we will take back our country on November 5th, 2024, the most important day in the history of our country. That's what it's going to go down as. Thank you.
Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth? Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. They say in heaven, love comes first. We'll make heaven our place on earth. Ooh, heaven is a place on earth.
Dark in the city, night is a wire. Steam in the subway, earth is a fire. Woman, you want me, give me a sign. And catch my breathing even closer behind. I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good, good night. A feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good, good night. A feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good, good night. A feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good, good night. I feel tonight's the night. Let's live it up. I got my money. Let's spin it up. Go out and smash it. Like oh my God. Jump out that sofa. Let's get on.
I know that we'll have a ball if we get down and go out and just lose it all. I feel stressed out, I wanna let it go. Let's go way out, spaced out and losing all control.
Fill up my cup. Mazel tov. Look at her dancing. Just take it off. Let's paint the town. We'll shut it down. Let's burn the roof.
And then we'll do it again.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And do it. And do it. Let's live it up and do it. And do it. And do it. Do it. Do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. 'Cause I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good, good night. A feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good, good night. I feel tonight's the night. Hey, let's live it up.
Let's live it up.
I got my money. Hey, let's spin it up. Let's spin it up. Go out and smash it.
Smash it.
Like oh my God. Like oh my God. Jump out that sofa. Come on. Let's get off. Fill up my cup.
Drink.
Mazel tov. Look at her dancing.
Move it, move
Just
it.
take it off. Let's paint the town. Paint the town. We'll shut it down. Shut it down. Let's burn the roof.
And then we'll do it again.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And do it. And do it. Let's live it up and do it. And do it. And do it. Do it. Do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Here we come. Here we go. We gotta rock. Easy come. Easy go. Now we on top. Feel the shot. Body rock. Rock it. Don't stop. Round and round. Up and down. Around the clock. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Saturday to Sunday. Get with us. You know what we say. Party every day. Party every day. And I'm feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good, good night. I'm feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good, good night.
The sun is hot and that old clock is moving slow, and so am I. Workday passes like molasses in wintertime, but it's July. I'm getting paid by the hour and older by the minute. My boss just pushed me over the limit. I'd like to call him something. I think I'll just call it a day. Oh, me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. This lunch break is gonna take all afternoon and half the night. Tomorrow morning I know there'll be hell to pay. Hey, but that's alright. I ain't had a day off now in over a year. My Jamaican vacation's gonna start right here. If the phone's for me, you can tell them I just sailed away. And pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I could pay off my tab, pour myself in a cab, and be back to work before 2. At a moment like this, I can't help but wonder, what would Jimmy Buffett do?
Funny you should ask, Alan. I'd say, pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care. Pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care.
He don't care. I don't care.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. What time zone am I on? What country am I in?
It doesn't matter. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's always on 5 in Margaritaville, come to think of it.
I heard that.
You've been there, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
I've seen your boat there.
I've been to Margaritaville a few times.
All right, well, that's good.
Stumbled my way back.
Okay, well, we just want to make sure you can keep it between the navigational beacons.
Between the buoys, I got it.
All right, well, it's 5 o'clock. Let's go somewhere.
I'm ready. Crank it up.
Let's get out of here.
I'm gone.
oceans to steal the water. You're just like a dream, just like a dream. Lift me into shape. I must have been asleep for days. Your moving lips to breathe her name. I opened up my eyes and found myself alone, alone, alone above the raging sea. Stole the only girl I loved, drowned her deep inside of me. You, soft and lonely. Lost and lonely, you, just like heaven.
Last night we let the liquor talk. I can't remember everything we said, but we said it all. You told me that you wish I was somebody you never met. But baby, baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. No way it was our last night. I kissed your lips, make you grip the sheets with your fingertips. Last bottle of Jack, we split a fifth. Just talking about life, going sip for sip. Yeah, you know you love to fight.
And I say shit I don't mean, but I'm still gonna wake up wanting you and me. I know that last night we let the liquor talk. I can't remember everything we said, but we said it all. You told me that you wish I was somebody you never met, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. No way it was our last night. No way it was our last night. No way it was the last night that we break up. I see your taillights in the dust. You call your mama, I call your bluff. In the middle of the night, pull it right back up. Yeah, my friends say let her go. Your friends say what the hell, I wouldn't trade your kind of love for nothing else. Oh baby, last night we let the liquor talk. I can't remember everything we said, but we said it all. You told me that you wish I was somebody you never met, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. No way it was our last night. We said we'd had enough. I can't remember everything we said, but we said too much. I know you packed your shit and slammed the door right before you left, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. No way it was our last night. No way it was our last night. I know you said this time you really weren't coming back again, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. No way it was our last night. No way it was our last night.
Let's get it started in here.
And the bass keeps running and running and running and running and running and running and running.
In this context, there's no disrespect, so when I bust my rhyme, you break your necks. We got 5 minutes for us to disconnect from all intellect and let the rhythm affect. To lose the inhibition, follow your intuition, free your inner soul and break away from tradition. Cause when we be out, girl, it's pulling me out. You wouldn't believe how we wow shit out. We burn it till it's burned out, turn it till it's turned out. Act up from northwest, east side. Everybody, let's get into it. Get stoked, get it started, get it started, get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Yeah.
Lose control, a body and soul. Don't move too fast, people just take it slow. Don't get ahead, just jump into it. Y'all hear about it? The P's will do it. Get started, get stupid. Don't worry about it, people will walk you through it step by step like an infant new kid. Inch by inch with a new solution. Transmit hits with no delusion. The feeling's irresistible and that's how we move it. Yo.
Everybody, let's get into it. Get stoked, get it started, get it started, get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Yeah.
Running and running.
Come on, y'all. Let's get cool. Let's get cool. And while I get cool. Let's get cool. And while I get cool. Let's get cool. And
Let's get ill, that's the deal. Applicator will bring the bugged out drill. Lose your mind, this is the time. You can't stand still, twist and bang your spine. Bob your head like me, Apple D. Up inside your club or in your Bentley. Get messy, loud and sick. Your mind fast, no more on another head trip. So come them now, do not correct it. Let's get ignorant, let's get hectic.
everybody, let's get into it. Get stoked, get it started, get it started, get it started. Let's get it started. Let's
your love. Since you've been gone, I can do whatever I want. I can see whomever I choose. I can eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant, but nothing, I said nothing can take away this blues, 'cause nothing compares, nothing compares to you. It's been so lonely without you here, like a bird without a song. Nothing can stop these lonely tears from falling. Tell me, baby, where did I go wrong? I can put my arms around every boy I see. They only remind me of you. I went to the doctor and guess what he told me? Guess what he told me? He said, girl, you better try to have fun no matter what you do. But he's a fool, 'cause nothing compares, nothing compares to you. All the flowers that you planted, mama, in the backyard, all died when you went away. I know that living with your baby was sometimes hard, but I'm willing to give it another try. Nothing compares, nothing compares to you. Nothing compares, nothing compares to you. Nothing compares, nothing compares to you.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, what a thrill. Goodness, your records just quitting balls of fire. I let that love all I thought it was funny. You came along and you moved and honey, I changed my mind, love is fine. Goodness gracious, just quitting balls of fire. You kiss me, baby. Ooh, it feels good. Hold me, baby. Girl, just let me love you like a lover should. You're fine, so kind. I'm gonna tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. I took my nails and I put
own me. I'm not just one of your many toys. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go with other boys. And don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display. 'Cause you don't own me. Don't try to change me in any way. You don't own me. Don't tie me down, 'cause I'd never stay. I don't tell you what to say. I don't tell you what to do. So just let me be myself. That's all I ask of you. I'm young and I love to be young. I'm free and I love to be free. To live my life the way I want. To say and do whatever I please. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display. I don't tell you what to say. Don't tell you what to do. So just let me be myself. That's all I ask of you. I'm young and I love to be young. I'm free.
There must be lights burning brighter somewhere. Got to be birds flying higher in a sky more blue. If I can dream of a better land where all my brothers walk hand in hand, tell me why, oh why, oh why can't my dream come true? Oh why? There must be peace and understanding sometime. Strong winds of promise that will blow away all the doubt and fear. If I can dream of a warmer sun where hope keeps shining, oh heaven be one, tell me why, oh why, oh why won't that sun appear? We're lost in a cloud with too much rain. We're trapped in a world that's troubled with pain. But as long as a man has the strength to dream, he can redeem his soul and fly. Deep in my heart, there's a trembling question. Still, I am sure that the answer's gonna come somehow. Out there in the dark, there's a beckoning candle. Oh yeah, and while I can think, while I can walk, while I can stand, while I can talk, while I can dream, please let my dream come
Oh, I wish I was in a land of cotton. Old times there are not forgotten. Look away, look away. What? Look away, Dixieland. Sing it, fella. You on your own, man. Oh, I wish I was in Dixie. For Dixieland, I was born. Early Lord, one frosty morn. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage United States Senator Mark Wayne Mullen.
I tell you what, if that music doesn't get you pumped, I don't know what will. When I used to fight, I used to spar to that song all the time, and I got punched in the face a lot, and I still like it. Hey, guys, just first of all, thank you for being here. Can I say thank you to all of our veterans? Can all of our veterans raise their hand for me? All of our veterans and our men and women that are still serving, guys, I just want to say thank you, because if you didn't do your job and do it well, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you so much for all you did for our country and continue to do for our country, right? Now listen, why are we here? We're here because you and I and everybody else, we're fed up with the way the country's being handled right now, right? The Harris-Biden administration has failed America. And we need a fighter. Yeah, I agree, boo. We need a fighter. And I think you guys know who I'm talking about when we need a fighter. We need somebody that's willing to take on the bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. We need a guy that's willing to stand up and fight for us. And I think we know who that guy is, right? President Trump is our fighter, and he's somebody that can win the fight. We need a winner. We can't lose. We're not in this to lose, because you and I and our kids and our grandkids are all depending on someone that's going to be strong, that can stand up underneath the pressure. And my Lord, we can tell that that guy is able to stand up underneath the pressure, right? Now, as only one, I'm one of one, a Native American in the Senate. I'm actually Cherokee, unlike Elizabeth Warren, who tries to claim to be something. And being Cherokee, my family knows a little bit about a heavy hand of a government and what they can do when they get too much power behind them. We need somebody that's going to go up there and fight, someone that's going to push back, someone that's going to fight for you and I and all the tribal nations around the country, someone that's going to say, no, we understand what self-determination and sovereignty means. We need someone that's going to go out there and put us in front of their own ambitions. And President Trump is just that guy. Now, as I mentioned before, I know a little bit about fighting, and I know a guy and a fighter when I see one. And our fighter, the guy who's fighting for our country, the people's fighter, the one that's on the mat every single day fighting for us, one that can bring down inflation, the one that can get our country back on track, the one that can bring down inflation, the one that can make us energy independent again, the guy who can actually secure our borders. The fighter I'm talking about is the man that showed true leadership and courage during an assassination attempt. The man that stood up and raised his fists in the air and said to all Americans, fight, fight, fight. That's my fighter. That's the guy that I want. And so, my friend, my president, and soon to be the 47th president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump, he's here to get you guys rallied, get you guys ready, to get you to go out there and win this country back November 5th. We cannot do it without you. May God bless you. May God bless America. And may God bless Donald J. Trump. Thank you all.
See the dew on the sunflower and a rose that is fading. Roses wither away like the sunflower. I yearn to turn my face to the dawn. I am waiting for the day.
Now, old Deuteronomy, just before dawn, through a silence you feel you could cut with a knife, announces the cat who can now be reborn and come back to a different jellicle life.
Smell of morning. the sunrise, I must think of a new life, and I mustn't give in. When the dawn comes, tonight will be a memory too, and a new day will begin. Sunlight through the trees in summer, endless masquerading, like a flower as the dawn is breaking. The memory is fading. Touch me, it's so easy to leave me all alone with the memory of my days in the sun. If you touch me, you'll understand what happiness is. Look, a new day has begun.
This is a man's world. This is a man's world. But it would be nothing, nothing, nothing without a woman or a girl. You see, man made the car, to take us over the road. Man made the train, carry the heavy load. Man made the electric lights, to take us out of the dark. And man made the boat for the water. Like my Bible said, Noah made the ark. This is a man's world. Ow! But it wouldn't be nothing, nothing, nothing about a woman or a girl.
L'uomo rincorre il potere
he's lost e non si accorge che poi non l'ha più senza te. Ci vive solo per sé, solo per sé, solo per sé. This is a man where
heightens each sensation. Darkness stirs and wakes imagination. Silently the senses abandon their defenses. Slowly, gently, night unfurls its splendor. Grasp it, sense it, tremulous and tender. Turn your face away from the garish light of day. Turn your thoughts away from cold, unfeeling light, and listen to the music of the night. Close your eyes and surrender to your darkest dreams. Purge your thoughts of the life in you before. Close your eyes, let your spirit start to soar. And you'll live as you've never lived before. Softly, deftly, music shall surround you. Feel it, hear it, closing in around you. Open up your mind, let your fantasies unwind in this darkness which you know you cannot find. The darkness of the music of the night. Let your mind start a journey through a strange new world. Leave all thoughts of the world you knew before. Let your soul take you where you long to be. Only then can you belong to me. Floating, falling, sweet intoxication. Touch me, trust me, savor each sensation. Let the dream begin, let your darker side give in to the power of the music that I write. The power of the music of the night.
When I first came into office, I cut taxes more than any other president. We have created 7 million new jobs, and it led to a growth like we've never seen before. We developed the greatest economy in history by far. When I left office, it changed. Inflation destroyed the lives of so many people. Interest rates went from 2% to 10%. Millions of illegal immigrants, traffickers, and drugs coming into our country. Our country has gone to hell. So I made a decision to run. We're going to make America great again, greater than ever before. I will fight for you with every breath, and I will never let you down.
I'm gonna fight like a G and all those see. And if I die, I'm gonna die free.
President Trump is literally putting his life on the line, and he's willing to risk it all because he loves this country.
He is strong, he is fearless, and he is what this country needs right now.
Our cities will be safe, our streets will be clean, and our border will be secure.
We can't allow our country to be destroyed by politicians who will put their own power ahead of the interests of the American people, our freedom, and our future.
The left told me to hate Trump. When you cut through the lies, you realize the truth. American families were better when Donald Trump was president. We were safer, wealthier, and stronger.
So if you love this country, if you want to stand up and fight for the future of our nation, you must re-elect Donald J. Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. The men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
This is our big crowd of beautiful people. Thank you very much. Thank you. 5 days, 5 days. Oh. We're all all working hard. We got to win. We can't let that alternative win. That would be a disaster for our country. So I want to just say a very big hello, Nevada. We're doing great in Nevada. And I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful state with thousands of proud, hard-working American patriots, and you are that. You are that. But I'd like to begin by asking a very simple question, very easy one. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I've come today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote in this election, I will end inflation. I will stop the massive criminal, and you see it, the criminal invasion. Some horrible, deathly people. We're not going to allow it. They're destroying our country. We will stop it immediately. And I will bring back something that you haven't heard of for about 4 years. We're going to bring back the American dream, and I want to just thank you. You're going to bring it back. And that's all you really need to know. And remember, Kamala and Sleepy Joe, they broke it. I will fix it, and we'll fix it fast. And we're going to have America that's bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. And, you know, we're doing fantastically well in the polls. And I want to thank a man who's with us. And I said, Joe, you got to go because he's got some big stuff going on, and we got to win this thing. He's heard my speeches before a little bit. But you have a great governor here, Joe Lombardo. And where is Joe? Where is Joe? Thank you, Joe. Is it okay? Can he go and do some business so that we can win and he can take care of some young people that are incredible and love him? Joe, thank you very much. So you go home, Joe. Thank you. Appreciate it. Great job. Joe Lombardo, everybody. Thank you. He's a good man. This election is a choice between whether we'll have 4 more years of gross incompetence and failure or whether we'll begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. We're going to bring it back. We're going to bring it back fast. And I'm asking you to be excited about the future of our country. That's not an easy thing to do when you see these clowns, these horrible, horrible people we have, running our country. I'm asking you to dream big again. Dream big again. This will be America's new golden age. That's what we're going to do, a golden age of America. Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. This is a very big state for us. This is a very big state. I love it. I'm here a lot without campaigning, but I want to tell you this is a big one, and it looks awfully good. It looks, I don't want to say, just keep voting, keep voting. You got to get out and vote. On Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala that you've had enough. You can't take it anymore. She's horrible, the worst there is. There's never been anybody worse on the border. She's the worst. She is the worst vice president in the history of our country. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. You're fired. The worst. Horrible. Horrible. She is horrible. And she lies. Every time she gets up, she tells a lie. Donald Trump will not allow fracking. That's a first, by the way. I won't allow. Donald Trump will not allow drilling for oil, which is going to make us rich as hell. No, he doesn't. No, she lies about everything. IVF, she lies. I feel like I'm the father of IVF. She lies about everything. She's worse than Crooked Hillary, actually. You know, Hillary was a lot smarter, and she lied a lot, but this one lies about everything. She just makes it up as you go. We've been setting records in early voting, as you probably know. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. But we can't let up. In-person early voting in your state ends tomorrow. So get out and vote. But the main thing is you got to vote. You got to get that. Tuesday is a very special day. It's a big day, and we can close this thing out. We're leading for the first time, I think, ever, right? We're leading in early voting for the first time ever. That's right. Never happened because, as you know, Democrats always lead in the early part, and the Republicans like to go there on Tuesday, and they like, I understand that you want to see your ballot go into a box. I'm not even sure you see that with this craziness that we have, but we're going to get it all changed. But we're doing really well, and to be leading in early voting is unprecedented, so that's really great. So it's an honor. And if you can't make it tomorrow, you got to make a plan. You got to be there on Tuesday, everybody. Who has not voted? Whoa. Whoa. Who has voted? Great. That is great. Wow. Thank you very much. That's great. Thank you. Look at that. Oh, I'll bet I'd like to know what casino you work for, huh? Look at that. That's great. So those that haven't, get out and vote. Every vote counts. Thank you very much. With your help, we're going to win Nevada. We're going to defeat Kamala Harris. Kamala. And we're going to, what are we going to do? We're going to make America great again, right? Over the past 4 years, Kamala has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted upon our people. She's violated her oath, eradicated our sovereign border, and unleashed an army of gangs and criminal migrants from prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions, from all around the world, from Venezuela to the Congo. Today I want to hear directly from a mother whose world has been absolutely shattered. This just came out, and everybody that sees it is like devastating. And there's so many things happening like this with the illegal migrants, so many killers. We're not going to let it go on. Please watch.
Sunday night, I asked her to not stay up super late because of her coming to work with me in the morning first to do her summer school. She said, okay. I told her good night and I love you. I went to bed, not realizing that that was going to be the last time I saw her.
We're best friends. Yeah.
We're going to shake it again.
I woke up to notice she wasn't in her bed. I'm in my heart trying not to lose my mind because I don't know where she is. I finally remembered her phone had a location on, and her phone was pinging just 2 minutes down the road, right behind the skate park. I start driving to the direction the phone was being pinged at, and I see a couple cop cars with lights on. I see yellow tape, and immediately my heart drops and sinks to the bottom of my stomach. My daughter's hands and ankles were both bound. She was strangled to death, left with no pants. And I know in my heart, she fought incredibly hard. She was not going down without a fight.
We begin with two men we're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl.
Police say these men strangled her before dumping her into that creek. Both men were in the country illegally.
Apprehended, then released by Border Patrol less than 3 weeks before Jocelyn's death. The men accused of killing Jocelyn Nungare are affiliated with the gang known for brutal violence.
Kamala Harris was in charge of immigration in our borders. If we had better border policies and not open borders and not these catch and release policies, I truly believe this all could have been prevented. Under her being vice president of this country, my daughter's life was ripped away from her. She had her entire life ahead of her.
Happy birthday, dear Jocelyn.
My daughter is 6 feet in the ground based off of policies that she allowed to keep. Kamala Harris did have one job, and she not only failed, not me, she failed my daughter, she failed Jocelyn. You know, she was only 12. President Trump reached out gave me his sincerest condolences as not a former president, but just as a father, someone who cares. I believe Donald Trump needs to be back in office. I can at least know that my next child will be safe in this country.
Thank you very much. So sad. Thousands of people all over our country. This is constant. These are some really tough people, some really bad people coming in. They make our criminals look like nice people. That's how tough they are. They are just so bad. The jails are being emptied into our country. Jails from the toughest countries are being opened up and let in through her stupid open border policies, totally unvetted. Nobody knows who they are, where they come from. Countries you've never even heard of. The day I take office, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. And I believe it's the biggest problem. Biden and Harris. You can't say Harris because nobody knows who Harris is. Nobody knows. You say Harris, nobody knows who the hell she is. But that's great. Thank you, darling. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. The savages charged with brutalizing and murdering Precious Jocelyn are members of the same vicious Venezuelan prison gang, Tren de Aragua. And they're taking over apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado, where you have a governor who's petrified. He's a radical left lunatic, and he's petrified. He doesn't know what the hell to do. He's lost. I call him a lost sheep. And they're unleashing a violent killing spree all over America. The United States is now an occupied country. Can you believe I have to say that? We're an occupied country. They're coming in, and they're by the thousands, and they have equipment that's military-grade equipment. How do they get that? They have military-grade equipment, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. Liberation Day. On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. We're going to get them out. We have no choice. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered. They are conquering areas of our country. They're conquering. We don't know, and nobody wants to talk about it. And the fake news, of which there is a lot back there. Whoa. It's a lot. They don't want to write about it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to. They'll write about it after the election. They don't want to write about it now. And we'll put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail, or we'll kick them the hell out of our country. We'll want them out. Through our open border, Kamala Harris is also actively aiding and abetting the worst human traffickers, child smugglers, drug dealers, and bloodthirsty criminal networks on the planet. There's nobody worse than what she's catering to. They even have an app number, where to call, so they can dump off illegal migrants. They have an app. Can you believe it? They have cell phones. They have airplanes flying over the border, loaded up with migrants that they're dropping all over our country. The cartel's profits have soared from relatively minor numbers to $13 billion from human trafficking alone under Border Czar. She doesn't want to be called Border Czar. She was the Border Czar, but you know what? She was in charge of the border. And by the way, the Border Patrol, they endorsed me very strongly. They even said I was the greatest president in the history of our country. Now, I said, does that include Abraham Lincoln? Does that include the great George Washington? They said, you're the best president, and you're the best president on the border. We had the best border. Drop that, please drop my all-time favorite graph. Do you mind? I love this. I sleep with this. I kiss it. I kiss it. Oh, that saved my life, I guess. Without that graph, I wouldn't be here right now. I looked over to my right very quickly, and I noticed there was a little problem. A little bit of a problem. Lunatics. We got lunatics out there. But that says it. The last day that I was in office was the arrow on the bottom. That was the lowest day in the history of our country for illegal immigration. That was done by the Border Patrol and ICE. And then it became like an Elon Musk rocket ship. Look at that. Look at what happened. That was the lowest day we've ever had in terms of illegal immigration. By the way, the drugs were equally low. The whole thing was so good. All that guy had to do is leave it. He went to the beach all the time, right? He could have gone to the beach, but he went to the beach, but they made changes. Instead, remain in Mexico. I got things that nobody could come into our country. They had to remain in Mexico. I think Tijuana might have been the fastest growing town in the history of the world. Hundreds of thousands of people, but they weren't in our country, and we want people to come in, but we want them to come in legally, right? We want people to come in, but they have to come in legally. We don't want murderers and drug dealers, and we don't want them to open their prisons. Think of it, they're opening their prisons and dumping them on us. But every day they're stealing innocent lives on both sides of the border, both sides. Just days ago, a young U.S. Marine Corps veteran named Nicholas Quetz from Arizona was driving through Mexico very routinely. Who would think this could happen? For a beach weekend with his great friends. Everybody loved him. He had a lot of friends. When he was viciously gunned down on the highway and murdered by members of a Mexican cartel. And we're joined today by Nick's wife, Carrie, his father, Douglas, his mother, Patricia, his sister, Alexis, and his brother-in-law, Phil, and they're beautiful people. And if they'd like to come up, I'd love to have them just to honor their beautiful boy. I'd love to have them. Come on up. Go, good. That's great. This is a great family, a perfect family, and what happened to them should happen to nobody.
Hey, so unscripted, I really wasn't planning on being here. 2 weeks ago, I was a completely apolitical actor. Anybody outside my own home wouldn't have known who I would have voted for. Today, the situation changed for me 2 weeks ago, Friday. My son was murdered by cowards, shot in the back on the way to the beach in Mexico. The reason I bring that up, and some people have questioned why was he in Mexico? He was in Mexico going to pursue his life, enjoy his life. We grew up as a military family, had been around the water. He loved it. We don't have Arizona Beach, so we call Rocky Point Arizona's beach. A lot of people go there, hundreds of thousands a year, I think, transit there. Plenty of Americans own property down there. So that happened. We got the call from the State Department, very professional. That night, no news in the United States to speak of. Sunday, still no news. Monday, still no news, other than the very most local level with no publication. Tried to get in contact with elected leaders, heard nothing. Tuesday, reached out to my local representative. He put me in contact with Senator Vance. Senator Vance coincidentally was coming to Tucson for a speech that day. I can't imagine how busy Senator Vance, President Trump are running their campaign. Senator Vance asked for 2 minutes to talk to him. And, I've met in my line of work, and I'm actually still a current federal employee. That's one of the reasons I've stayed apolitical. I'm a 20-year military retiree, so I've dedicated my entire life to this country and doing... My son, who was murdered, is a 4-year military veteran of the United States Marine Corps. He worked on vertical assault from the Ospreys, so he'd fast rope out of helicopters. My daughter is actually a drilling Army reservist. and my son-in-law recently medically retired due to issues sustained on active duty. So our family's a military family with generations and generations of service. I bring these things up as an apolitical actor and somebody who struggled, the kind of Americans many are, who probably sit around their table and say, who are we going to vote for, go back and forth, decide what we think is important. And we struggle on that, and we actually pray on it. And many people ask me, how can I stand up here today 13 days after my son was killed and talk in front of groups? And it is through the grace of God, and I do believe in God and a higher being. I do believe my son Nicholas has given me the power to be here, has given my wife the power to be here, has given my daughter. Karime, who is Nick's wife, and my son-in-law Philip. And Philip has done such a great job, so now I have one living son, and that is Phil, because one was stolen by the cartel. So when I met with Senator Vance, and because I am apolitical and met many leaders from up to the level of National Security Council plenty of times working different issues for this government, I asked him a question, and I said, sir, before we talk, I need to know if I'm speaking to the candidate, the senator, or the Marine. And he said, I'm JD. I need you to tell me what I can do for you, and you tell me what you can do for me. And he meant it as a way of helping him to help me. So JD Vance was awesome. I asked for 90 seconds. He gave me 15 minutes. At the end, the very next morning, the very next morning, and after having tried to reach my elected officials for 5 days, President Trump's office called me. President Trump, in the fight of his life, offered to meet with us. President Trump gave me 15 minutes of his time to talk about what we could do. I asked him for some things, and he helped. I asked him, A, for U.S. involvement, and we know he's candidate Trump right now, and there isn't a seated president. I asked for U.S. involvement in the investigation with the Mexicans. I asked for extradition of the killers after I found out under the current U.S. code, not all can be extradited, only if they're tied to RICO activities. In this case, they probably are tied to RICO activities. They are probably coming back, but I'll defer all questions on his investigation to the FBI. And I asked for a working policy in Mexico. In my career, I worked in, one of the things I worked on was Plan Colombia, very similar situation in security as to what we have in Mexico today. It was supported by Senator Biden. That's out in public record, you can look at it. We have no working policy with Mexico right now. Count the numbers of illegal immigrants, whether they're private, whether they're dangerous or not dangerous, and you'll see a number of about 25 million crossing back and forth. And then when somebody says, why was Nick in Mexico? My son was an hour from our house when he was executed by cowards. That's how close it is. But it is a national security challenge, not a local border state challenge. We have these type of things with Tren de Agua and MS-13, anybody else you want to name, plus unnamed criminal organizations. The cartels, they operate with impunity in Mexico. They've infiltrated every level of their government. The local police are helpless because they're not properly equipped. State police a little bit better, but not, and then the federal. But we need to work with the Mexicans on this to go forward. So what I'm leaving you with, and I'll give this back to President Trump, to whom you came to listen, not me, is this. For most of us in this room, and honestly, I would not have been in this room because it wouldn't have been political 2 weeks ago. You know who you're going to vote for. But for the soundbite and the people looking at this, after 12 days, I received a phone call from Senator Mark Kelly. That was the 12th day. And he was gracious, and he offered his condolences. And I told him, sir, I appreciate that because I'm a respectful person. I'll work with anybody. But what I want is sponsorship of a couple things. One is change to U.S. code so that if people have committed crime against U.S. persons, especially murder, they are brought back here to face our justice. Number two is legislation that is enacted that takes us someplace closer to Plan Mexico that'll institute not only military capability but also institution building. And if we break out the numbers of what it costs, we can do that for much less than we spend on illegal immigrants. And we can make both sides of the border secure. People are coming here. Some come for economic, and we talk about that, but many of those people are actually fleeing due to the insecurity in their own country. If we can help them, we can help ourselves. Senator Kelly, and as I said, so this is bipartisan, but we need a leader who can enact it. And the leader is standing right next to me because he's promised to enact it. Bipartisan. And I will tell you, President Trump, former President Trump, however you want to name him, and I had some really good conversations there. We had conversations between ourselves, two men looking at each other. The man had a tear in his eye when he saw the picture of my son, and the person that those that are on the that are not have not committed and don't know, he's a decent man. He tried to help us, and he promised to help us. He also made a promise to me that'll be between the two of us, but if he's elected, I do believe he'll keep it. Sir, I can't thank you enough. Sir, I can't thank you enough for what you've done for my family in terms of calling attention to this. It was unreported in the media. Go back and check for anybody who looks. And I will tell you, and importantly, like I said, Governor Walz was in Arizona last Saturday. He had a convention. We tried to go. We asked to go. I've got electronic proof of it, so we can show pictures. They've already been released to the media. We're told it was full. It was in a high school auditorium, and we weren't allowed to speak with them. So when you wonder about where America really is and what the stories are, you don't have to wonder anymore. The man next to me and his vice presidential nominee, a current seated senator, both met with me within 36 hours of asking, and both took up the cause. And for any troll that is out there and says your son shouldn't have been in Mexico, if it's safe for 25 million people to come here, how can it not be safe for my son to go an hour south of the border? And for the trolls that say we're politicizing my son's death, I will tell you to go to the root of the word. It is the policy that contributed to my son being killed. It is the policy that's contributing to the death of other Americans, just like the video you saw of that young lady. It is the policy that's contributing to fentanyl coming into the United States. Those are political failures, and we need to end them. Thank you for your time.
I'm asking you, help us get justice for Nicholas.
That's incredible. And frankly, to do that, to be able to do that, literally just a few days after this horrible event happened is pretty amazing, I'll tell you. We'll take care of it. We're going to take care of it. We're going to get that guy. We're going to get him.
We're going to get him. They know who he is. Can you believe it? They know who he is. Nothing's done. Mexico's going to give him to us. Mexico's going to give him to us. They have to. They have to. It's going to be real easy. When I'm president, we're going to put the drug smugglers and human traffickers, we're going to put them right out of business. They're killing hundreds of thousands of people in our country. You know, if we had a war, it wouldn't be as bad as this. Hundreds of thousands of people a year are being killed. To expedite removals of the Tren de Aragua savage gangs, I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer. And I will immediately ban all sanctuary cities in the United States of America. Sanctuaries for criminals. As we secure our border, we will bring back our economy, and very simply, I will make America affordable again, because it's not affordable anymore. They have destroyed it with this inflation, this horrible inflation, the worst ever in our country. Kamala Harris cast the deciding votes that launched the worst inflation of your lifetime. She cost the typical American family over $30,000 in higher prices. You look at your food bills, you look at the cost of food items. You know, more people tell me about groceries. The word grocery, I've heard it more in the last year than any other word, I think. I think I've heard it more than any other word, other than the word garbage. Garbage. How stupid is a man to say that, right? How stupid is a man to say that? But she believes it too. I'd love to hear the conversation now. Oh, boy. But now Kamala wants to raise taxes on the typical American family by an average of $5,000 a year. Kamala also launched a war on tip workers. Good place to talk about it. And service workers right here in Nevada, increasing the so-called tip allocation tax rate by 60%. That's why you don't hear them talking about no tax on tips. They don't talk about it because they're going just the opposite. In other words, even after Kamala wrecked your economy with inflation, she came after your tip income like a vulture would do, actually. She doesn't understand it. She doesn't know what it means. She has no sense of economics, none whatsoever. If she gets 4 more years, Kamala Harris will pick your pockets bare. We will not have a country. Everyone will flee. Our companies are going to flee. People don't realize these companies, these big, beautiful companies, they're run by international business people. They don't live here. Many of them live in Switzerland and Sweden and lots of other countries. They don't mind. They don't even think about it. They'll take these companies out of here so fast. It's a mass charge to see who can get what company, and they want to go, and they'll go. They don't care. They have no loyalty to our country. We have to keep them here by being smart, not stupid. I will massively cut taxes for workers and small businesses, and we will have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors. And I will support a tax credit for family caregivers who take care of our parent or a loved one. You know, if we didn't have that, if we didn't have the angel moms and lots of different names, but the angel moms is an example. If we didn't have them, the great wife that takes care of a husband who is badly wounded, and vice versa, by the way. But if we didn't have that, caregivers, they really take care. We wouldn't have enough hospitals if we doubled the size of our hospital rooms. If we doubled it up, we wouldn't have enough hospitals to take care of our country. And now, of course, what's happening is you go to towns and cities all over the country, you can't have a hospital anyway because the migrants have literally taken over the beds. They've taken over the schools. They've taken over your son has a seat in school and he no longer has it because a migrant is they're giving him, actually, they're saying, you go first. The migrants go first. Migrants go first. Look at what's happening. Look at what's happening all over the country. The schools are bursting at the seams. The hospitals are a disaster. You go to the hospital, you have a problem, you can't get in. I will end Kamala's war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill, baby, drill. And I'll terminate her Green New Scam, one of the greatest scams in the history of our country, devised by a person who never even took an environmental course. You know who that is, right? AOC plus 3. Remember what she said, 12 years. Well, the 12 years has pretty much come up, Mr. Congressman, right? Matt, right? The 12 years has come and gone. We weren't going to be around anymore after 12 years. This is a young lady who, I don't know if she's having a lot of fun or what, but boy, I watched those senators. They were there for a long time. I watched them say, yeah, that's right, that's right. You know what her real goal is? $93 trillion. They don't want any more windows in apartments, no more windows. They'd like every building in Manhattan to be taken down and build a building with no windows in it. You have to be one of the greatest salesmen in the world to sell one of those apartments. I guess I have it wrong. I've always been known for having the biggest windows. I want those windows to be so big, right down to the bottom of the floor. And the bigger they are, the better they sell. That's just the way it is. I got to change my whole philosophy if you don't vote me in, because I'll go back to building crazy buildings now and I won't be able to use windows anymore. No, they don't want windows. They don't want cows. They don't want anything. They don't know what they want, actually. And I will cut your energy prices in half within 12 months. We're going to cut it in half. We have liquid gold. And then everything else is going to come down. It was energy that brought it up. It's going to be energy that brings it down. They screwed up that energy policy. They had it down to nothing, and then they snapped it back. They said, we're not going to win and elect the prices. Remember, they're going through crazy. Then they got it back almost to my level. But see, my level wasn't right because I would have been 4 times that level by then. And I will be 4 times or 5 times the level very soon. Despite all of the damage she's caused, Kamala has spent the final week of her campaign comparing her political opponents to the most evil mass murderers in history. And 2 days ago, Joe Biden called our supporters garbage. Garbage. That's nasty. I think that's worse than deplorables, right? How did that work out for Hillary? I think this is going to work out even worse. And they mean it. They mean it, even though without question my supporters are far higher quality than Crooked Joe or Lion Kamala. Oh, look at that. Look at that. They had nobody like that. My response to Joe and Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans. You just can't do it. Can't do it. You can't be president if you hate the American people, and they do hate it. They hate the American people. Who would have an open border policy where prisons and jails and penitentiaries are allowed to freely walk into our country? Where gang members are taken off the streets of Caracas, Venezuela, and dumped into our country. We don't even know their names. We know nothing about them. They're free to roam. They call it free to roam. Congratulations, you are free to roam. And they killed 4 people, you know. It's crazy. The 13,000 plus that we have, the killers, these are murderers from jails. Can you believe that? These were all murderers, convicted murderers, in jail, in prison. And we know nothing about them. In fact, we don't even know where they are. But they're out there someplace. I'm sure we have a few of them. Welcome. I'm sure we have a few of them sitting. This can give you a little bit of the yips, right? You're sitting down now and you don't know whether or not the guy next to you killed 5 people.
No, we're going to get them out of here. We're going to get them out fast. We're going to get them out fast. And our local police are going to be activated. And if we had the cooperation from the fake news, which you don't, it would happen relatively quickly. We're going to be able to do it. No, our local police, let me tell you, they know every one of them. They know their middle name. They know everything about them. They know what country they come from. They know everything. But they're told to stand back. Don't touch them. Don't do anything. Stand back. They don't want to stand back. Just like Border Patrol. They go crazy when they see these people pouring in. And they can look at them and they can see trouble. They go trouble, 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 trouble. No trouble, trouble, trouble. They can look at them and they can see good or bad. Kamala Harris is not fit to be president of the United States. She doesn't have the intellect, the stamina, or that special quality that real leaders have to have. She doesn't have any quality leadership. She shouldn't even be there. He got 14 million votes. Look, I'm not a fan. But we had a debate. He didn't do great. His numbers went down. Big deal. We wanted to see him, and they say, you can't win. You're out. This is, we call him a threat to democracy. They look at me, I'm a threat to democracy. I am the least threat. I'm the one saving our democracy. No, crazy Nancy. She's crazy as a bedbug. She walked in and she starts screaming at him, you're out of here. You're out of here. Get out of here. And it's amazing, her and some of her friends. And yet with Nancy, she was a big owner of Visa stock. She started off with nothing, and now she's worth $200 million, they say. But listen to this, with her husband. What was that all about anyway? That was a weird deal. What was that all about? So she's got the husband, and they buy stock. And she was a big owner in, I believe it was Visa, and big owner, big position. And we didn't know this, but Visa, it was going to be announced the following day that Visa was under major federal criminal investigation. And Nancy sold all of her stock at Visa the day before that came out. I don't know. Sounds a little bad. What do you think, Michael? A little bit shaky. She said it was by strictly coincidence. She said it was by coincidence. No, well, but I don't see the press. Did you guys write about that at all? I don't think so, huh? Joe Biden's comments were the direct result of Kamala's decision to portray everyone who isn't voting for her as an evil and even subhuman person. And we know it's what they believe because look at how they've treated you. They do treat you like garbage. They really do. For the last 9 years, Kamala and her party have called us racists, bigots, fascists, deplorables, irredeemables, even Nazis, and they called me Hitler. My father was a great guy. He was a strong guy, but a good guy with a big heart. Strong, but really a warm guy. Whenever we walked down the street, we'd come sometimes into Manhattan. That was a big treat. And we'd see, in those days, you don't see that anymore. Now you see it at a very much higher, at a scarier level, frankly. They put a gun in your ribs and they say, give me what you have. But they used to hold tin cups out. And he'd always walk by and he'd always put $100 in it. Anytime he saw it, he'd put $100 in. That was like $1,000 today, maybe more. I said, that's nice. I always remembered it. It's nice. But he told me once, I don't even know in what reference, but he said, never use the name Nazi. You don't use that name. Do you understand me? And never use the name Hitler. You don't have to say Hitler. Don't ever say Hitler. Do you understand? And now I'm being accused of being Hitler by these lunatics out there that have lost control of our country. Our country we're riddled with crime. Every city, you take a look at it, it's falling apart. They smell, they're dirty, they're criminal-ridden. You take a look at what's happened to our great cities, it's a shame. And a city, and I hate to say it, I hurt myself. I have property there, San Francisco. I have a lot of property in California. It hurts me. But I don't care about this. Look,
To be president is a big deal. So I don't give a damn about my property, but I own big property in San Francisco. San Francisco. Now I lose another 25 million by this statement. That's one. San Francisco is almost unlivable. And it's because of her. She was the DA who destroyed San Francisco. She then became the Attorney General. And she destroyed, along with Gavin Newsom, one of the worst governors in history. She destroyed California. More people moved out last year than moved in. First time that's ever happened. I mean, they have the best weather, in all fairness. In all fairness, they have the most incredible weather. And they have the beautiful ocean. They have the beaches. They have everything. And you got to work hard to screw that up. But he's done it. He's done it. You know, they just passed a law on voter ID. Do you know that? That not only don't they have voter ID, but it's against the law for you to ask somebody for voter ID. So if you work at one of the very few places that would even have the consequence of asking, because there are no places, you know, they just mail out millions of ballots and they come mailed back in. They don't know where the hell they're going, although they have a pretty good idea. They tend to go to Democrat neighborhoods a little bit more. But they mail out like 38 million ballots, and then they get mailed back in. They shovel them with shovels into kids and bullshit. Because I'll tell you what, if I ran in California, you know, I went to California with the family of our great congressman and his wife, Ginger, who's incredible, Matt Gaetz, Mrs. Gaetz. And their family had a little event in a beautiful part of California, and nobody could believe, you couldn't even get on the streets. It looked like Lindbergh just arrived on Broadway. It was so crazy. We would do, with a fair count, we would do great in California, the right guy. Now, me, I would do great because Hispanics like me. I'm glad they love me. They should love me. And I love them. But I would do great. If we had an honest vote, I always say, if God came down just for one day to be the vote counter, in other words, I would win in California. I would. It's a disgrace what happens. Think of it. They send out millions and millions and millions of ballots. They go out, they come back. You know, it's interesting. When you go to a legitimate place, like in Florida, they've done a very good job. But I go into Palm Beach. I go in. They say, sir, I know who you are. I mean, I fully understand who you are. You're the president. But, sir, could I see your identification? Oh. And I say, you're doing the right thing. I actually say, don't be embarrassed. You know, they're very embarrassed. Sir, I mean, I don't know how to ask, but could I see it? I say, yeah, here. Oh, thank you, sir. I thought it was you. I thought, no, they feel good. And then they give you a paper, and you sign the paper, and you put on whoever you're voting for. Maybe there's a bond issue or something, and you do a check, and they're watching, and then you sign. They walk you over to essentially a container, but it could be in the form of a machine. The fewer machines you have, the better, by the way. The fewer you have. You know, Elon Musk told me he's the greatest. I would say, you got to say, in terms of computer, I would say he's probably about as good as you get. And, you know, I watched that big rocket come in 2 weeks ago. It came in, that sucker was going to crash. I said, no, don't let it crash. I tell the story. I was talking to a very important person on the phone, very important. And I'm watching the screen. It's muted. There's no sound, but I see this, seeing live. And at first I thought it might be like a space-type movie, you know, some kind of a crazy movie. But this rocket comes in and it's all burned. You know, it's coming down at 10,000 miles an hour or some crazy speed, and they're just like on fire. But now it's like the size of a 22-story building. That's pretty big, right? And it's coming in, and I'm talking to this guy, and I say, do me a favor, hold it just for a second, okay? I gotta watch this. I put the phone down. I never picked it back up. Can you believe? And because I'm president, but more importantly, because I may be president, he held on for 45 minutes. The guy held on.
You know, if I wasn't president or if I had no potential to be president, he would have hung up in the first 30 seconds. But I picked that up like 45 minutes later. I said, hello, 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 President. Very important guy. Everybody heard of him. I felt so badly, but one of those things, but I was fascinated. So I see this massive 22-story ship coming down, and you have the gantry or whatever the hell they call it nowadays. And the ship, and it's coming too fast, and I'm like, oh no, don't do that. I don't want to see it crash. And I didn't know it was Elon. I assumed it might be. I mean, why not? He has everything else to. But the ship is coming down, and then I see the bottom is going to hit that gantry, and then I see an explosion of fire. Pushes it like that, just perfect. The fire's all over the place. The whole thing is burning. There's smoke. I never saw anything like it. Then, boom. And then the arms come out. And just like you do your beautiful little baby, he grabbed that sucker. And it was secure. I said, it's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. It was going to crash. The fire, everything just, computer, right? It was all. I called up Elon. I said, Elon, you know, he gave us the greatest endorsement. He said it's the most important election we've ever had. Do you know where he is right now? He's campaigning in Pennsylvania. Can you believe it? With all he's got to do, because he thinks it's the most important thing he can do. But I said, Elon, was that you, the rocket? Was that you, Elon? I called him up. Hello? I said, how you doing, Elon? Okay, what's up? I said, Elon, was that you with the rocket? Yeah. I said, you're unbelievable. I said, can Russia do that? No. Why not? They don't have the knowledge, and they never will. I said, can China do that? No. I said, why not? Because I have the knowledge, and they don't. It would take them 10 years before they can do that. I said, can the U.S. do it outside of you? No. I said, that's why I like this guy. That's why I like this guy. Hello, Mr. Senator. I just see you there. The Barrasso man, he's one of the greatest people. What a great, I didn't know you were going to be here. I'm very impressed. I guess Sam Brown must be doing very well for you to be here, huh? We got the leader of the Senate. We got the leader of the Senate here. And I know it's not for me, so it has to be for Sam Brown, right? Thank you. Thank you. Senator Barrasso is an unbelievable guy, and Sam is unbelievable. And we're going to get to him in 2 seconds. And he really is. By the way, you know, I do the weave, right? You know the weave? It's genius. It's genius. I can go here, but it's always related, maybe sometimes just a little tiny bit. But I can, like here, over there. Because I look, I see them, I say, whoa, there's a senator, one of the biggest senators, and one, maybe the most powerful guy. Because Mitch doesn't have it anymore. No, he may be the most powerful guy in the Senate. And I'm very impressed with you, Sam. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But nobody has given up more, right? Nobody has given up more who's run for the U.S. Senate than Sam Brown. Nobody. And we should put him in office. Nobody has given up what he's given. Defending us. Defending us. And he's running against a horrible person, a radical left lunatic, but nobody's given up what that man has given up. And I say it, and he might not even like me to say it, but I say it because it's true. Nobody has given up, ever, that's ever run for the U.S. Senate. And I just hope he gets in. And he's very close. I saw a poll. You're right there, neck and neck. Great. Nice that you're there, Barrasso. That's great. But they've bullied you. They've demonized you. They've demeaned you. They've censored us. They've deplatformed us. You know, they took me. I had 280 million between Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And one day I woke up and I had nobody. Think of that. They took them all away from me. No, think of that. And I have a lot of things to say. I have a lot of good things to say. At least I think they're good. And I didn't know what the hell to do. And I went about 2 months, and I had all this stuff, and my mind's ready to explode because I can't tell people. And then what happens? I did what's called an most of you are too young. There's a couple of guys here that's fine. They know they've heard it. But I did what's called an old-fashioned press release. And I do a press release, and I put it out, and it got better and better. Save America. It was called Save America. And people loved it. And then I created Truth. Think of this. Truth. And it's hot as a pistol now. So think of it. Somebody said, very smart guy, a Wall Street genius. He said to me, think of it. They hated you so much that they took you away from, I had like 280. I know Mark Zuckerberg said I'm number one. Number one, I think of that. He came to the White House, and he's actually been very nice to me, I must say. But he came to the White House. He said, congratulations, you're number one. But on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, then they called it Twitter. Now they call it X, but under a different regime. And it's great that Elon bought that. He's done us all a big favor because these were bad people. But so this friend of mine who's a great natural business person, he viewed it differently. I said, can you imagine what they did? But think of what happened. They deplatformed me, just like I said. They took my voice away. I then came up with a press release, and the press release went crazy. It was like almost as hot, maybe just as hot. But then I said, I got to open up some kind of equipment or machinery. I got to do it like, I want to do it. So I couldn't do it then because they wouldn't even talk. They wanted my voice silenced. So I created Truth, and it's really good. It's very expensive to do that. It's expensive stuff. Between the clouds and all the other crap that I had to learn about that I wasn't interested in, I got a cloud, I got everything. But this guy said to me the other day, he said, think about it. They deplatform you. They take your voice away. They want to destroy you. So you, in a moment of weakness, develop your own source of information, and you do it at a high level, and you get great engineers, but it's still expensive, and you put it out, and then you open it up, and it's called Truth, and they said you couldn't get the name Truth because it was somebody else had to own it. And I said, check. They said, sir, you'll never get the name Truth, sir. That's a term that you will never get. I said, and you ideally need 5 letters, right? I said, wouldn't Truth be great? They said, sir, you won't get it. You won't get it. I said, check. Well, sir, I will, but sir, you're not going to get it. I said, check. And they came back, sir, it was available, and we bought it for $2,000. Can you believe it? $2,000. And then it had a little burst. I don't know what the hell's going on. So here's my friend. He said, so they deplatform you. They take it all away. They try and destroy you. And you open up something. And as of yesterday, it was worth $10 billion crazy dollars. Did you see that? $10 billion, Mr. Senator. And they're going crazy. They all have Trump derangement syndrome. They're going, can you imagine how they must feel? They take it away and you open something that's worth $10 billion. It's crazy. But it's good. And by the way, use Truth. It's great. It really is. It's great. They've taken your money and thrown open your borders to criminals and terrorists, flooded your towns with deadly drugs and death, and given your jobs to illegal migrants, and sent our blood and treasure to fight stupid foreign wars in places and countries that you've never even heard of. This Tuesday is your chance to stand up and declare that you're not going to take it anymore. You're not going to take it anymore. What we've built is the biggest, broadest, most incredible coalition and the greatest political movement by far in American history. And by the way, I say that all the time. They've never challenged it. They can't challenge it. It's not even close. By the way, it's 100 times, 200 times greater than anything. There's never been anything like this. I always tell the story. Pat Buchanan was a great guy, conservative commentator. He came in second in New Hampshire. And he became very famous, and he had a phenomenal career because he came in second. I came in first in 50 states. Think of it. For the nomination. First in 50 states. And then we went on to win the presidency of the United States. And then we won it a second time, but I guess we're going to have to do it a third time. We're going to do it a third time. And it's going to be, if we do it together, because it's not me, it's all of us. It's us together. It's we. It'll be the greatest event in the history of politics in America. I believe that. There'll be nothing ever like it. And we're going to straighten out our country, and we're going to make America great again. It's going to be amazing. 5 days, oh, I can't wait. You know what? I've worked for 62 days in a row. I haven't taken a day off. By the way, I looked at her today. She was trying to justify the fact that they called us all garbage. And I watched her at a news conference. She's exhausted. She's finished. And about 2 weeks ago, after having worked for 50 days in a row, 2 weeks ago, she said, I canceled the show. You know why I canceled it? Because it was on NBC fake news. I said, somebody set me up. I said, I don't want to do it. And I went to another show instead. She said, he canceled the show. I did Joe Rogan for 3 hours, you know. Joe Rogan for 3 hours. She said, he canceled the show. He looks very tired. He looks very, very tired. Because I canceled the show, did another one. No, I cancel shows that are no good. NBC is no good. They're no good. ABC is no good. CBS is no good. And in fact, in honor of you, I just sued CBS today because of 60 Minutes. You know why I sued her? Because she was on, and it was called Election Interference Fraud. Very simple. They asked her a question. She gave an answer as though she was one of the dumber people in the history of our country. Certainly the dumbest vice president, and would be beyond the dumbest president, but we're not going to let that happen. So she gave one of these, you know, they call it a word salad, but I don't like the term. I don't like the term. No, I don't like the term. I think you're very nice, but I don't like that term. She came dressed as a word salad. Do you believe it? And he came dressed as a wall. Look. And I have no idea who she is, but she's a very pretty young lady. Okay, sit down. So she answered a question. It was a question. She gave this long, crazy... If you read the answer, you would say there's something wrong with her. So you know what 60 Minutes did? Can you imagine them doing that for me? They took it was a very long answer. You just went on and on, just words. Didn't mean anything. 60 Minutes and CBS cut it all out, and they took another answer for a meaningless question, and they put it up there. Do you know that, right? They put it up there. They took it and they put it up, and they replaced an answer that would show that she's not qualified cognitively, as I would like to say. I think she should take a cognitive test. She's not qualified. They took it out in its entirety, and they took another answer from someplace else, and they put it in. That's called election interference fraud, okay? So we sued them today. And I think CBS should lose its license, but I think ABC should lose its license also because of what they've done. We'll see. It's a hard one for them to explain. Well, let's say we have a fair judge. Well, exactly why did you do that? I mean, it's, you know, I've seen where answers are sort of juggled around. That's not good either, but a little tiny. But to take the whole thing out and to take another answer from a totally different question and a totally different part and move it in, and they got caught, and they don't want to show us any papers because they might have done it with many other answers. And that's real interference. So, no, we don't have to lock them up. They should lose their license, which is worth billions of dollars. But we brought together veterans and union members, soldiers and steel workers, farmers and auto workers, and patriotic moms and dads of every race, religion, color, and creed. We're welcoming historic numbers of African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, and Arab Americans. Did you see in Michigan how well we're doing with the Arab Americans? That's great. That's good. Because we have a real good chance. We're leading in Michigan. We're leading in Pennsylvania. We're leading all over the place. We're leading here. We're leading in Arizona by 8. A great poll just came out. We're leading by 8. We're leading all over the place. But we're uniting Christians and Jews, Catholics and evangelicals, Muslims and Mormons, and everyone who simply wants to do one thing. It's one simple thing they want to do. You know what it is? Make America great again. So our campaign has been endorsed by the 400,000 members of the Fraternal Order of Police, by the Border Patrol agents, by the rank and file membership of the Teamsters, and I'll tell you, headed up by a very good guy, Sean O'Brien, good guy, by Elon Musk. Well, we have so many. Yesterday, Elon, that's a great one. He feels it's so important. That guy, he's a worker, too. I'll tell you, he's working every scene. He's actually liking it. Gee, I hope he doesn't run for office. I don't want to run again. But no, he's really working. He's amazing. And, you know, yesterday we were in Wisconsin, Green Bay, Wisconsin. So who is Green Bay, Wisconsin? Brett Favre, with the largest hand I've ever seen. He said, hello, sir. He shook my hand. His fingers are like a sausage. He has the biggest hands and strong guy, great guy. And he endorsed me yesterday in Wisconsin. He's never done it before. And he's great. He's a great guy. He could throw a ball 80 yards. He could rip the hand. Sometimes he threw it a little too hard. That rips the hands off the receiver. But he was great, one of the greatest. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. we have. And he's going to work on health and women's health and all of the different reasons, because we're not really a wealthy or a healthy country. We're not a wealthy country either. We owe $36 trillion, but we'll get that taken. You know what's going to take care of that? Largely? The liquid gold is going to help us with that. That's why I told Bobby, I want you to take care of health. I want you to look at the food and the food supply and what we put on the food and all sorts. You could look at, but let me handle the oil and gas, Bobby. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I want to work the liquid gold. And Buzz Aldrin endorsed this yesterday. Never done it. He's been a great hero and an astronaut for many years. He's never endorsed anybody. This is the first time, and not a young guy. This is the first time in many years first time he's ever endorsed. That was nice. Thank you, Buzz Aldrin. Kamala and Joe call them all garbage. Those people are called garbage. They're us. Everybody's us. I think 250 million people are us. And I call you the heart and soul of America. That's how you're the people that built America. But we're especially excited to have the support of record numbers of Hispanic Americans. And right here in Nevada, we're going to win a record share of the Hispanic American vote at a level that nobody's ever seen before for the party. Because, you know, basically it's pretty simple. Hispanics want great jobs. They want rising wages, and they want safe communities. They're great people. Energy, they're very entrepreneurial. I know them well. They're really hard workers. They're great people. You don't want vicious gang members getting dumped into your state, and you don't want Kamala teaching your children that they can change their gender anytime they'd like. You don't want that. She came out with gender stuff. You don't want to know about it. And I don't know what's going on with Catholics, but many Hispanics are also Catholics. And Kamala is persecuting Catholics. What the hell did Catholics do? They are being persecuted. Look, she's raising her hand. They're being persecuted. And by the way, evangelicals, Christians you're next. You'll be next if they win. She even suggested that being Catholic disqualifies you from being a federal judge or running for office. You believe that one? How old is that theory? That goes back a long way to Kennedy. To John Kennedy. I will defend your jobs. I will protect your children, and I will defend religion. Kamala Harris is a low IQ individual who's running a campaign of hate and anger and retribution. She's now talking about what she's going to do on the border. But why didn't she do it before? 4 years. Or she's going to do something about inflation. I'm going to do something about, she has no idea what the hell she's talking about, inflation. She doesn't even know what the word means. But I say, but why didn't you do it before? I asked this question in the debate. Why didn't she do this stuff? I'm going to do this and that. She forgets she's been there for almost 4 years. Or what she's going to do to help the economy. And I say, why didn't you do it before? Why didn't you do that before? You had 4 years almost. She and Crooked Joe head up the worst administration in the history of our country. They've made Jimmy Carter the happiest man around. It's true. And in all fairness, look, he didn't allow 21 million people to pour into our country from all parts of the world, knowing nothing about them, and they turn out to be massive numbers of criminals and terrorists at levels we've never seen before. 2 nights ago, Kamala made a speech with a paid-for audience. You know she can't get crowds. They send buses. You can't. You got to send different. You can't have all the same bus line taking everybody. I thought they did a good job, actually. I could have used them sometime, but I don't need crowds. We got plenty of crowds. But she made a speech, and all she talked about was Donald Trump.
About Donald Trump. 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 Trump.
The whole thing was about Trump. She was here for almost 4 years. They didn't do anything. The worst and a failed administration. What they did in Afghanistan, others would be prosecuted for it. And they didn't fire Milley. They didn't fire these generals that did a bad job. He's an incompetent guy, too. They have a lot of incompetent people. We defeated ISIS. Remember that? That was much tougher. We did it surgically. We did it in 4 weeks. She suffers from a very serious disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, TDS. But many Democrats do. They really do. They suffer. The press suffers from it, too. They're sick people. And you know why? You know why they do this? Because we're winning. We're all winning. Just remember that. Everything Kamala says is a lie. She says, I want to take away Medicare and Social Security. It's crazy. I would never say that. Who would say that? Because if you do say that, that's your number one. It would be wrong. And number two, it's the end of your political career. So who would say that? I never said that. She said, he wants to immediately end Social Security. She's crazy. Hillary Clinton wouldn't lie like that. We can't stand Hillary. She's crooked as hell. She says, I want to end Obamacare, affordable health, okay? Now, I never said that. I fixed it. I made it good, but it still stinks, okay? If we got something better, I would do it. If it was less expensive, it's too expensive and it's not a very good form of health care. But if we got something better, I'd do it. But I never said I'm going to end it. She said he wants to immediately end it. She talks about Project 2025 all the time. I have nothing to do with it. I've said it every way possible. I even said to a very good lawyer, am I allowed to sue them for continuously? We put it in writing. We said to... And the lawyer said, well, sir, you're running a campaign. You got a lot of liars in campaigns. You probably can't. But she says that I want to ban IVF. It's fertilization. That's a lie. You better believe it because you've heard it. No, I'm like the father of IVF. When I heard about it, they had a bad ruling in Alabama. A judge ruled that all clinics have to be immediately closed. And I was called by Katie Britt, great senator from Alabama. And she said, you have no idea. So many women, they're going crazy. And I said, explain it. Just explain it. And after about 5 minutes, I said, well, we can't do that. That's great. That's helping us to have beautiful, healthy babies. That's okay. And I actually said, I wrote something out, and it was quite good, I must say. And it was totally supportive. And Alabama legislature the following day passed exactly what I wrote. And we are totally in favor. But she said, I want to end IVF. In fact, I want to get insurance companies to pay for the IVF if possible. We want to do it. And I'm going to protect Medicare and Social Security and your health care from Kamala's open border catastrophe. So she's the one who threatens your health care. And according to recent studies, Kamala's plan for giving free health care to illegals will destroy Medicare. It'll destroy our country. It'll cost $2 trillion. She wants to do that. She will. That's something she'll do. I will. And by the way, if you tell them, then they're going to come.
and it's a tragedy. If you say you're not going to get it, then they're going to stay where they are, and it's not a tragedy. I will never let our country be destroyed. The reason Kamala's campaign has been reduced to this desperate, pathetic stream of hoaxes and lies is simple. The entire world can see she's a train wreck who is totally unqualified to be the president of the United States. She's totally unqualified. There are some people who thrive under pressure, and there are some people who crack under pressure. And the more pressure Kamala is under, the more pressure she unravels. You know, people didn't know her. She's only had a few months because she had that little honeymoon period. And remember, she was introduced and she got on stage and she went, thank you, 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 thank you. She's like 50 times thank you. I said, what the hell's wrong with her? But the press never picked that up. If I did that, it would be over. Remember that? When she was, right? Was that a little weird? She said like 42 times, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But being a candidate is nothing compared to the pressure of being president. I know both. If she can't handle the press conference or the television interviews, which she can't, she should do Joe Rogan. I mean, it's a really good interview. Then she can't handle the presidency. She'll get overwhelmed, melt down, and millions of people will die. This is not a charity event. This is an election for the biggest and most important job in history. There's no participation trophy for incompetent candidates. Do you want to lose your life savings because we put a weak and foolish person in the White House? That's going to happen. If that happens, it's going to happen. Do you want to lose your job or maybe your house or pension because Kamala has the economic understanding of a child? She's a child. Do you ever hear her talk about the economic situation? Oh, me. It's crazy. She shouldn't be here. The presidency is a job held by Teddy Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Dwight Eisenhower, Ronald Reagan. And people of strength and high intelligence. Would you trust Kamala to talk to Russia or China about nuclear war? But I can. We had no wars. And China paid us hundreds of billions of dollars. And Kamala, think of this, hundreds of billions of dollars. China and Russia, I ended their pipeline. They had Nord Stream 2. Nobody ever heard of it until I said, wait a minute, they're building a pipeline in Europe that's going to Germany with offshoots all over the place. They're going to build a pipeline. I terminated that pipeline. And then they said, he's been nice on Russia. Think about that, Matt. I've been nice on Russia. I terminated the biggest job they've ever even conceived of. And then they say, oh, but I do get along with Putin, and you know, that's a good thing. And I get along with President Xi, and I get along with Kim Jong-un. But they respect us. They respect us a lot. Now they laugh at us. They think we're a joke. Would you trust her to steer us out of an economic crisis? Nothing is more dangerous than to give immense power to a person with a very low IQ. You wouldn't put Kamala in charge of literally a kindergarten class. You wouldn't. So at the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, can you afford to put someone that's grossly incompetent in charge of the future of our country? I don't think so. On top of all that, Kamala says she would do nothing differently. She was asked that question. Please look.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The
suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition. US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
Authorities saying Train de Aragua, which has been linked with more than 100 criminal investigations here in the U.S., has now been found operating its criminal enterprise in apartment complexes.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes.
Nothing comes to mind. 325,000, the worst stat, 325,000 young, beautiful children went through her open border, and they've never been seen again. They're probably dead, or they're sex slaves or slaves of some kind, or captives. Remember that, and the press is, I've never seen a story about it from those fakers back there. Think of that. 325,000 children. And then you remember, a couple of weeks ago it came out that 818,000 fake jobs were created so that they could show how great they're doing, but they were all fake. 818,000 fake jobs. And then a whistleblower, thank you very much, whistleblower, they were going to report a change after the election. They were going to report that it was, they wouldn't say it this way, but essentially it was a fraud on our country. And I never saw them write anything about it. Think of it. 800,000 jobs plus 18,000. 818,000 jobs, almost 1 million jobs were fraudulently created. But they got caught before the election. Aren't I lucky? I mean, think what would have happened. They would have announced it a week later, and everyone would have said, so what? These people are fraudulent. If you want to end this disaster, you must. This is a disaster. You must get out, and you must vote. We're thrilled to be joined tonight by your next Senator, Sam Brown. Stand up, Sam. He is doing some job. And thank you very much, Senator Barrasso, for being here. It's a great honor to have you. It's a great honor. Great honor. He's a fantastic man, by the way. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. Don't fight this guy either. He's a rough. Where is he? Where's Mark Wayne? What the hell happened to him? He's probably out fighting somebody. He's a hell of a fight. Thank you. Thank you, Mark Wayne. Thank you. Lieutenant Governor Stavros Anthony, thank you. Thank you, Stavros. Looking good. Thank you very much. And he's working very hard on getting out the vote, and what, maybe even more importantly, the honesty of the vote. We have everything we need now. We just need a little honesty. You and the governor are doing great. Thank you very much. Congressman from Florida is a great guy. He's really great. Matt Gaetz and his wife, his beautiful wife, Ginger. Ginger, stand up. Matt and Ginger, this is a good-looking couple. This is a seriously good-looking couple, but they're a great couple. Your congressional candidate who's really looking good, Drew Johnson. Thank you, Drew. Nevada Republican Party Chairman Michael McDonald. Thank you, Michael. 5 days, Michael. 5 days. Thank you, everybody. So important that we win this state. If we win this state, it's over. It's over. A friend of mine, a great television star, he's been on for a long time. I don't even know what the hell it is, but when you're on for more than 2 seasons, you're like considered good. This guy's been on for years and years, and he's big stuff. Rick Harrison. Where's Rick? Oh, Rick. Hi, Rick. How many years, Rick? Yeah, he's been on there for a long time. Thank you, Rick. Great job. Another friend of mine, a great writer, a very powerful writer. I guess we could call him conservative, to put it mildly. Wayne Allen Root. Thank you, Wayne. Great guy. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you for your support. Wayne is always supporting. I really appreciate. We have a very similar philosophy, don't we? Huh? He's been great. And my friend Steve Witkoff, who's one of the great developers in the country. Steve Witkoff, who is always there with his checkbook to help people. He goes to North Carolina. He writes out a big check no matter where he goes. He's like a walking money pit. He's got a lot of cash. But he's a very generous guy, and he's a great, talented business person. He's great man. But here are the facts. Kamala is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than crazy Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas herself. She destroyed our economy. She destroyed San Francisco. She was an original creator of defund the police movement. And anybody who wants to defund the police for even 1 week is not worthy of being president of the United States. See, we've learned about her. We didn't know anything about Harris. We didn't know anything about her. We've learned about her. She had that little honeymoon period. I really figured that these guys were right. Wayne, you were right about honeymoon. You said it was going to last 6 weeks, and you were right. Probably, I think, to the day. I'm very impressed with you, Wayne. Kamala vowed to abolish ICE. She pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. Would anybody like to give up their gun tonight, please? She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention, all at taxpayer expense. Now think of it. This is where she is. This is her whole life until about a year ago when she realized this was not playing very well to the country. And she did one other thing. She lied about working at McDonald's. To me, that's a big deal. In conclusion, your vote this November, we're going to fire Kamala, and we're going to save America. Going to save America. We will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America and back to Nevada. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire American. I will end the war in Ukraine. It would have never started if I was president. I will also stop the chaos in the Middle East. October 7th would have never happened. You would have had all those people who would be living happily today. And I will prevent World War III from happening. I will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect that they so dearly deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. We will build a missile defense shield over our country. It's going to all be made in the USA. That will include Nevada. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our school, and quickly. We will keep men out of women's sports, if that's okay. And I will defend religious liberty. I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are finally going to build up our country, defend our borders, and we are going to protect our citizens like never before. And we will stop illegal immigration once and for all. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be overrun. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation very soon, once again. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope, and that beautiful American dream is going to be back and stronger than ever. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is too big to rig. You need to get out and vote. For the past 9 years, we've been fighting against the most sinister and corrupt forces on earth? People like Adam Shifty Schiff. Can you imagine that bum is going to be a senator? Can you imagine? Maybe there's a 1% chance. Who knows? He's a bum. He lied like hell. Adam Shifty Schiff. We have senators sitting over here. They can't even believe it. He's a bum. He's a liar. He's a crooked guy. He's a crooked man. With your vote in this election, you can show them once and for all that this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country. And 5 days from now, it's the hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. With your help from now until Election Day, we will restore America's promise, and we will take back the nation that we love. We will take it back. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down, and we will never, ever surrender. Together we will fight, 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 and win, win, win. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Nevada. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. Thank you very much. God bless you all. God bless you.
It's fun to stay at the